Hello traders, it is Sunday morning, March 24th, and it's time for my weekly video. I hope you took advantage of the last trade. We're going to show it to you in just a second. Every one of these videos, I start off with my previous picks. You can evaluate those picks. We take a look at what the price action has done since that video. Then we're going to do some market analysis, and then we're going to find some new picks. If you follow these picks week in and week out, you are going to see incredible consistency. Market first, then we find the best stock. We are riding the fastest horse. That's the system. That's why all these trades work out so well. I hope you've been able to attend some of our Wednesday live events. They have an incredible amount of educational content. I never know where they're going to lead because we answer all of your questions. So questions that other traders have, you probably have. So please make sure to attend those. They've also got a ton of great picks. Plus, Harry and I take a look at a lot of the symbols that have been posted. We'd prefer to have you talk about why you like this particular stock, and then we can analyze it versus just throwing a bunch of symbols up. So you're going to see some really good trades and lots of technical analysis based on some of your picks. So the trade that I highlighted last week was GPS. You can see these multiple breakouts through horizontal resistance. These are longer term high minus and high plus trend lines. Big compression, earnings announcement, breakout here with follow through. Folks, that stock has gone up from, I think, about $24. Let's see. This is where the video came out. $24 to $28. Yeah, 15% move in a week. I'd say that was a pretty dang good pick. So Wednesday, I highlighted AEO. And so the live event Wednesday came before the FOMC statement. It was right here, probably about $24.50. So the stock has gone up $1, almost 5%. That's come at a time when the market really hasn't done much of anything. We're going to get into the market in just a little bit. LYFT. That was another stock that I highlighted last Sunday. So you can see this is where the video came out last Sunday. That's been an incredible pick. It's gone up from $18 to $20. So this system works. Take the free trial, by the way. You don't even have to provide a credit card. You just have to register with the website. When you come in, take time to learn the system. I've written out my course. I'm going to be completing it in the next few months. You'll be able to go into the chat room and see that it's not just me posting great trades all day. That really doesn't matter. All that matters is that what I teach you can be learned and replicated. It's members who've gone through the system, who've learned it, who've put the time and effort in. They are the ones posting great trades. They're the living proof that this works. So let's get on with it. We like LYFT. I like AEO. I like GPS. All of those daily charts look good. Here's what I liked about LYFT. I loved that dip here. And then we can see a cup and handle formation. One of the reasons that this is so powerful is because we had this initial decline. Okay, this is an earnings reaction. We had the initial decline. It was above the gap up right here, which is good. That is a higher low. We can also see that there was horizontal resistance prior to that earnings announcement, and we tested that horizontal was resistance, now support, and the stock was able to find buyers at that level. So it rallied up. It wasn't quite able to get through resistance, and it made another dip. This time, the dip was much shallower. What does that tell us? That tells us that buyers who want to get in and who were waiting for any kind of retracement did not feel that the stock would be able to get back to this level. When it came back and it tested a VWAP, which by the way is an indicator that I use, and it's something that's calculated in Option Stalker Pro. I found this to be very reliable. This is a fantastic support and resistance level that you'll want to have on your charts. So it tests this VWAP-E, and buyers are aggressive here. Now we get this move higher. That's what results in that cup and handle formation, and we have a breakout. I loved all of this. This is just a fantastic setup. So yes, LYFT also looks good, but that's not going to be my pick of the day. I've already highlighted these stocks previously. We're going to take a look at what the market's doing, and we can see that we've had this beautiful grind higher. We can also notice that in the last month, so during the month of March, a lot of red candles creeping in. We've also had kind of gappy and patchy price action in here, not nearly as tight as what we saw here. This is a very powerful, very, very strong trend. This is also very powerful, the way that we're marching higher. One red candle, boom, instantly reversed. We love to see that. Now we're starting to flatten out a little bit, and we're getting into more of a horizontal trading range, a little bit of a compression. The market is very news driven. It's looking for the next catalyst. We've had a big run up. Am I bearish? Not even remotely. No, I am not bearish at all. I'm bullish. I'm very bullish. I'm looking to buy dips, but we haven't had any. So what does that mean? That means that we have to be passively long. We're waiting for those dips. We're still taking bullish put spread positions. We're trying to buy stocks on dips that we like. We're keeping our time frame a little bit shorter in duration. This week, there's not a lot to drive the market. In fact, quite the opposite. There are reasons for the market to stay very dull. One of those reasons is that we have a 3-day weekend coming up. We have Good Friday, so the exchanges are going to be closed on Friday. When you take a holiday out of the mix, so we lose one trading day there. That also means that Monday, when we come back, it's going to be pretty dull. So now we've taken 2 days out of the trading action. So there won't be a lot going on this week. We don't really have any big earnings releases. We don't have any big economic releases. Durable goods orders. I think it's our third look at GDP. The first look is really the only number that has any kind of weight or might possibly move the market. So there's no news to drive the market. We did have the potential for news last week. So that was the FOMC statement. So we're waiting to see what might happen during the FOMC statement. Here's my take on it. First of all, we suspected that this could be a cold splash of water. The Fed was going to tell the market what it did not want to hear, which is higher for longer. So that splash of cold water could have sparked a little bit of selling pressure, but it didn't. And even into the statement, we did not see much of a market pullback. That told me that the news is probably getting factored into the market, and that if the Fed came out and made very hawkish statements, the market was already ready for that. And that's what happened. I was hoping for a dip. So was every other asset manager. And they didn't want to buy ahead of the FOMC statement. When the FOMC statement came out, we got this long green candle right here on Wednesday and a new all-time high. So they were waiting for a dip, hoping for a dip, didn't get one. So they put money to work. They're like, we're not going to dip here. Oh, well. So they came in and started buying it. But we didn't get any follow-through on Thursday, and we didn't get any follow-through on Friday. Is that bearish? No, it is not bearish. If this were going to be bearish, we would have seen that instantly on Thursday. And what you would have seen off of this relative high is a long red candle that would have reversed all of the gains from Wednesday, and it would have been instant. Bam! We are taking profits right here. We didn't see anything close to that. What this means is that there is some resistance, there is some selling pressure, but the market is continuing to float higher. So It's not going to go anywhere fast. It's just going to continue to drift higher because there's no news right now to knock the market down. Job growth is excellent. We have strong economic growth as well. Inflation is a little hotter than the Fed expected. In fact, as far as job growth and economic growth, the Fed came out and said, hey, you know what? We're going to be raising our growth expectations for 2024. So that's very bullish. They also said that inflation is a little bit hotter than they would like to see. So that tells us higher for longer. So, market didn't advance. That tells us that there is still some selling pressure. It also tells us that buyers are not that anxious to get long up here. They just don't have the news to fuel the rally. You can also see that the volume this week was fairly light. So, not a lot of conviction. That doesn't mean that this is bearish. You can have light volume floats higher that last a very, very, very long time. So by no means is this bearish. It just simply means we can't be aggressively bullish either. We've got to be relatively passive. And so that's what we're going to be looking for is more bullish trades. If we look at QQQ, we can see that it is much more in this horizontal type of trading range, and it has been for even longer than just March. So back in February, you could see how the market wasn't, or the QQQ was not able to advance. We got this breakout this week on the SPY, and QQQ didn't participate. But QQQ has been rallying like mad. It has been one of the sources of strength for the market. And right now, tech stocks are taking a little bit of a breather here. That's good news for the rest of the market. And the rest of the market has actually been able to move higher. I'm going to put up RSP, and I believe I referenced this last week. Now, this is equal weighted S&P 500. That means it's not based on market capitalization. That means that the big 7 tech companies don't have as much influence. But what this tells us is that the breadth is starting to improve because you can see that there was a breakout this week and that all of the stocks are starting to gain a little bit of traction. So we're seeing some rotation into some of the laggards. Guess what? We saw that in the price action, and that is why I picked LYFT. That's why I picked GPS. That's why I picked AEO. So those stocks are actually doing quite well. So what we're going to do is we're going to just keep in mind that the market is still very strong. We can't be overly aggressive right now, but we want to be long. So we need to look for those types of opportunities. I'm going to go in and take a look at a search. It's called Breakout, and Breakout looks for stocks that have been breaking through my automated trend lines. It's a great search. Really nice stuff here. You can see, you can go back and zoom out, and then you can see what the origin of these trend lines has been. And RTX is one of the stocks on this search. Should come as no surprise to you because I've liked RTX. I've highlighted RTX in recent weeks. It's not a fast mover, but it is a consistent mover. It's above all the major moving averages. It's above VWAP. I still like it. So yes, it's been grinding higher. It's not going to be my pick of the week. And so as I continue to flip through this list, you're going to see other really nice technical breakouts. I'm going to go down and look for some of the other stocks. Caterpillar, nice. You can see it tried to break out here. This is a little bearish engulfing candle. Nothing to worry about. We want to make sure that on Monday the stock is able to recover and continue higher. So one little red candle, that's nothing. That should not spook us out of the position unless, of course, the stock is climbing a wall and going parabolic. Then that's a sign that we might want to take profits. But that's not what Caterpillar is doing. It's just grinding higher. RKT, really nice breakout through this high plus trend line. closing well above it, it should challenge this resistance level at $15. You might think, oh, $15, there's nothing there for me. Well, the stock's at $14.13. There's plenty of room before it even gets to that resistance level. You'll also see LYFT on the chart. We've already looked at that. I loved that breakout. Continue to go down and see what else we've got here. CLF still needs to prove to me that it's going to be able to get through. I don't know that that's going to happen yet, so I'm going to click GGC and I'm going to click on the top of that candle. We're already through it, so I'll simply keep an eye on it and see if it can get through. Here's another method I can use. I'll just go into a 15-minute chart and I'm going to click on GGC and I'll select that candle. Now that alert will be set and I'll get an alert if CLF has been able to get through that level. D, K, N, G. Almost kind of a cup and handle formation here. Really nice breakout. I like this. You can see how it tried to make a new high and it backed off a little bit. I suspect that the NCAA tournament might have a little to do with this because a lot of people love their brackets and they could be wagering more online. But I like this, and it's come on decent volume and relative strength. DKNG could be my pick of the week. Just going to keep going down. You know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my resources here, and we also have the ability to select variables in all of our searches for our custom columns. So whatever variables I want to display, I can. And this is set up so that our trading signals from a 5-minute basis to a D1 basis are shown first. Then I have a column that acts as a buffer. Is the stock on the high of the day or the low of the day? I want to see those dots. Then we go into real relative strength, and then we go into heavy volume. The point is that each one of these searches goes through and it finds the best stocks, period. But on a 5-minute or an intraday basis, I need to be able to quickly see where the best of the best are. And that's what this search allows me to do. I'm looking for green dots all the way across the board, and I'm looking for blue dots. Well, RTX certainly satisfied that. Look, RKT certainly satisfied that. Green dots all the way across. DKNG, not as much on the real relative strength side, and that's probably because the stock was maybe flopping around on Friday. So ideally, I'd like to see a stock that's performing a little bit better than that. Let's take a look at what the price action was on Friday anyway. So here's what we did Friday. Zzz, a whole lot of nothing, okay? Very tight compressed range. Here's what we did on Thursday after the FOMC. We gapped up and then we spent the rest of the day doing nothing, just compressing. And that's why we have almost 2 doji candles on a D1 basis right in here. Just very tight compressed little daily ranges. Market's likely to come in, probe for support, try and find support. We want to have more than this half of this long green candle preserved. We've got a VWAP coming up in here, so I would expect that to happen, and then we have maybe a chance to drift higher off of that. But in a lackluster week, I'm not expecting much of anything. So please, one of your big takeaways today is don't take a lot of size. Don't have big positions on right now. Yes, I believe the market's going to continue to float higher, but if we get any kind of nice little dip in here, we'll have a better opportunity to enter. Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Set alerts to buy dips. Whoa, that's an even better idea. Well, how do I do that? Okay, well, I've shown you that a lot in recent videos, so this should not be any surprise to you at all. But I'll put up LRSI. I could have put up a HA reversal. I could use a 3-8 moving average crossover. So the 3 EMA goes below the 8 EMA, and then it comes back above the 8 EMA, and then we get a trigger, and then we're able to evaluate the dip. Hey, the dip was brief and shallow. this looks like a really good opportunity to enter the trade at a good price. This is exactly when you want to use this. And so when you get into really dull trading like this, your objective should be love the D1 chart, set an alert. Love the D1 chart, set an alert. Love the D1 chart, set an alert. So now you're starting to get alerts on these stocks and you evaluate, hey, was that dip pretty shallow? Yeah, it was. Okay, great. That's the one I want. In fact, the video from last Sunday, I spent a lot of time going over this. Now I can remember LRSI specifically and how when you have one LRSI trough where it's below 20 and then you have another one where it's below 20, you want the stock to put in a higher low. That means it's going to be a good LRSI buy. It's one method that you can use. So on RKT, if I go in and I take a look at where some of these were, a 5-minute basis might be a little bit more sensitive, and I might choose maybe a 15-minute basis would be better for me to wait for that LRSI crossover. So I'm going to right click, create alert, go down to LRSI. I'm going to say, show me when the M15 is greater than 20 and give me an alert. Set, done. Will it take me 5 seconds? I don't know. That's what you should be doing right now. So we want to buy dips, we want to buy dips, we want to buy dips. So let's take a look at some other stocks that have come up on the list. I think we're in this area here. There's GPS. We already know those breakouts. Those were nice. DIA actually had a breakout, the Dow Jones. PBF, yeah, very choppy, very chunky. Microsoft trying to break out. Okay, so this is a nice breakout here. There's a nice breakout here. That's what's flagging us right now. It's trying to get through this upward sloping high plus trend line. Okay, but it connects here, so it's a good trend line, but I'm not going to give it a ton of weight. I'm going to be looking more at the price action, and the price action has me very interested. In fact, this is a stock that Harry highlighted during our last live event. I like it. This is a good pick. So this is where the live event was, Wednesday, and you can see live event in here. Yes, Microsoft is probably about $4 higher. Nice pick, Harry. I'm with you on this one. I liked it then and I still like it. So here's what I like about Microsoft. Remember, we've had weakness in the tech sector. There was a Department of Justice lawsuit, antitrust lawsuit against Apple. Apple tanked, so that weighed on the whole tech sector. NVIDIA had a massive AI conference this week. So all of those chip stocks that had been in rally mode actually started to get back a little bit. We looked at QQQ. I showed you how QQQ has been in a tight horizontal range. Yet given all of that, Microsoft has been able to move higher. I view that as bullish. I like it. I like that. So let's overlay QQQ. And here we can see QQQ, down, down, down. Microsoft holding all of the gains. This was on Thursday. Nice. When QQQ is rallying, so is Microsoft. QQQ pulls back later in the day. Microsoft holds most of its gains. Okay, let's also go in, and I'm going to remove the overlay. So let me take care of that so we don't have that obscuring our chart. And I'm going to also take a look at the D1. So on the D1, you can see stock rallies higher, and the tail underneath the body is them trying to knock Microsoft back down. These breakouts are going to be challenged. WAP, 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 WAP. Not able to do it. Okay, well, maybe in a weaker market, we'll be able to knock Microsoft down. No, nothing doing. Whap, whap, whoop. There it goes. There are buyers in Microsoft. I like this breakout to a new high. I like these two bullish hammers. This tells me that the stock is going to preserve these gains. So, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? What did I tell you to do with this? I set an alert. Okay, we're going into a sideways week where we're going to have directionless trading. There's no news to drive the market. We've got a holiday on Friday. Microsoft, I want to buy it. And I want to buy it when it does this right here. Okay? If you had bought here and you had an LRSI cross on a 5-minute basis in here, hallelujah, you had a $3 gain. Take it. Don't mess around. The market's not going anywhere. The stock is not going anywhere fast because it doesn't have a market tailwind. Take your gains and call it a day. What did it do on a 15-minute basis? Okay, still at 12:45, I had an opportunity in here to get long and make a little bit of money. I'm going to go with a 5-minute basis on this because I want to buy this dip and I want to have that. So I'm going to use a more sensitive LRSI. Right click, create alert, select LRSI, 5-minute basis, greater than 20, add it, save it. Now I might have a really good trade on Microsoft this week. Did I do that for DKNG? I don't think I did. This price action right here, you can see the stock is pulling back. So it's given back some of its breakout. Right in there, okay? So now I should already have some LRSIs and I want the open of this long green candle preserved, okay? So that open is 46.76 and the stock is pulling back. So what am I going to do with this one? I'm going to look at where the M15 is. Hey, M15 LRSI is already below 20. Now I just need it to boink, go above 20. When it does that, I want to make sure that this low from Thursday is preserved. Okay, well, I could even put an alert there in case the stock does go down to it, but I want to see it bounce before then. So let's right click, create alert, select rule, LRSI, M15, greater than 20. Save it, and it's set and ready to go. So when we buy dips, we want nice, shallow dips. And if we're watching VWAP, we want that dip to be above VWAP. So let's go back to prior day because we'll have a better example. So here you've got a little bit of a gap up in the stock and it comes back and it tests that VWAP. Ideally, the stock comes back and it preserves VWAP. In this case, it came just below it, but it got right above it pretty quickly, and that's a good sign. So now this is where you'd want to start buying it, which, by the way, we can use VWAP as one of the variables for our alerts as well. When I right click, I move through this pretty quickly, so I'm just going to show you some of the different variables we can use. 1OP signal, recently added that. 3/8 EMA crossover, ADX, compression breakouts, new high of the day, new low of the day, HA reversals, key bars, LRSI, relative strength. So in the case of relative strength, it's a really good variable to use, and there's VWAP. in the case of using relative strength, you would in here set it for, hey, I like this stock. I really like this stock. I'd like it to go relative, from relative strong to relative weak to relative strong. Okay, well, it goes relative weak and then relative strong in here. If I wanted to, okay, this is really good stuff. If I wanted to, I could set up two variables, okay? I want it strong relative to the market, and I want it above VWAP. Ooh, that would be good. So when we use one variable, then the servers are going to know what the current status is of that one variable. If it's bullish, it knows that that variable has to go bearish and then bullish, and then it'll trigger an alert. When we use multiple variables, all the conditions simply have to be true. So for me to use VWAP, we'll go in and we'll take a look at where DKNG finished well below VWAP, but VWAP is going to be new on Monday when we come in. So VWAP's going to start calculating from the beginning of the day. May not be the most effective variable to use right on the opening because VWAP is still being established, but once you're an hour into trading, then you really could use this variable effectively. So here's how you do that. Right click, create alert, going to select real relative strength, and I'm going to select that on a 5-minute basis versus SPY. And then I'm also going to select VWAP when above VWAP. Add that, and now I have two conditions. So it has to be strong relative to the market, and it has to be above VWAP. When those conditions are met, let me know. Then I'm going to have my alert. I'll be able to evaluate the price action. I'm not going to have to be camped out on a particular stock, monitoring it all day. The system is doing that for me. I can keep searching, keep setting alerts. I know that this is a fairly low probability trading week coming up. There's not a lot of news. There's not a lot of action to really drive stocks. So those stocks that are super strong, that have a decent tailwind on their own, I'm going to be looking to buy dips. I'm going to set those alerts. When I get those alerts, I'm going to evaluate the depth and duration of the dip. I want it to be brief and I want it to be shallow. I'm going to be looking for stocks that have some decent volume during the day too. Those stocks have a chance to continue to trend higher during the day, and there are institutions in there buying it. That's where the volume is coming from. So those are going to be some of my better candidates. I like Microsoft. I think Microsoft is going to be a buy on any dip here. It's already shown us that it has been able to deflect weakness in the tech sector right there. And we can see it on the daily chart. So if you get a little bit of a pullback in the stock and it finds support, that's where I'm going to be an interested buyer. Same thing with DKNG, but it has to prove to me that it can hold that. And I just go through my list. You know, RKT, I think I already set one on RKT, but it would be the same type of situation where on any dip, you get that LRSI cross, great. Relative strength, great. This is going to be a good entry point because the stock has already proven that it wants to go higher. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope your NCAA brackets are still intact. Watch for our live event on Wednesday. Please go back and watch those live event recordings. You're going to find a ton of great information there. Trade well. We'll see you Wednesday.
Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.